like the world was just so heavy, man. I just felt like me as a man, I can no longer stand on my own 2 feet. And I was really just like, bro, it's time. And I remember it's when Tati texted you. Remember that? Tati texted you. And I remember like kind of saying goodbye to you guys. And I remember I wanted to go into the bathtub. I'm a Virgo too, so I'm very clean. And so I went in the bathtub because I didn't want to get my rug dirty. That's crazy, right? Is that crazy?
That is nuts. Yeah,
so I went into my bathtub and I remember grabbing my gun. I'm big about setting the standard, so I guess we'll go there.
Okay.
Are we on?
Well, I mean, yeah, we're technically live
Wow.
right now. So,
okay,
let's get set up.
Are you comfortable? Are you ready to go?
I'm comfortable, bro. Are you ready?
Because you just been up and down, so I'm just waiting for you to kind of dive in.
Let me take a quick breath.
A couple deep breaths. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Intention. Be very intentional. Okay. Beautiful. Another one. In through your nose, out through your mouth.
Oh, you wanted a ha, not a...
One more. Yeah, you just let all that, anxiety and stress and cortisol level out. So it's just a nice, effective way to like let that out. So
absolutely. Okay, we're here. We're here. So
we did not just do some breath work
we are here
for the first podcast I've ever shot in my life.
Just to ground ourselves, you know what I mean? That was beautiful. I think I have to do that every single time now to set that intention.
We set the tone.
That was huge.
That was crazy. Good for you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That was a good experience. I think we're done. So I guess, this is it. Episode 1.
Episode 1. Complete.
Maybe the last one. I don't know how this will work.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, this has been in the works and talking about forever. Like, hey, I want to get you on, my podcast, or just to like sit down and talk and connect and just like to share our stories, share, the ups and downs, the struggles, but the successes. And I think it's just, finally time. You had enough time, and, everything happens for a reason. Because I know I pushed it on you maybe like months ago, like, hey, let's shoot some content, come over. And you're
I wouldn't say months. I would say years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
And so I was like, all right, let's do it over there. And then we've just been busy. So now we're here. So this is cool. Yeah, we'll see what this turns into. This might be a monthly thing. This might just be one and done. So
well, let's be real. Like I've told you this before. Many people have reached out to me and said, hey, I'm doing a podcast. I would like to have you for an episode and talk. And so the reason it took me so long to do this is, one, I wasn't, I guess, vulnerable enough or comfortable enough to talk about my story just yet. And two, who would I rather do it with? My best friend. And so in my fucking gym right now, is that crazy?
this is yours.
We literally have a couch
This is yours.
on my turf area. Behind right now is the gym.
Yours.
So I'm just having a moment to myself right now. Like, this is a very proud moment because you know me for a very long time. And so, is this crazy?
That's super cool, man.
Crazy.
Yeah, take that moment to reflect. That's beautiful, dude.
That's a beautiful. Okay. So, sorry. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay.
Sweet. So here we are, man. I really have no intention just other than just to conversate and connect. And so, I guess, it's been a little bit since we've connected. What has been up in this last year of yours, dude?
Obviously, a lot of growth.
Yeah.
Right. Growth is huge for me, right? Obviously, I'm blessed to have, this space, just the community within it too. The people in here, man, are just so fucking great. All just great intention, great mindset. They all know what they want in life, all in the right direction. So this is honestly just the last year has been just a bunch of just filled with blessings. And my circle, is such a small community, but it's so fucking strong and tight. And I haven't had that in a very long time. So it's just, I don't know, man, I'm just blessed, and it's really just a good time for me right now. And so I'm just really kind of just enjoying it. I mean,
yeah,
like I said, I'm just chilling on the couch right now. We just chilling. So, I mean, life's good.
That's awesome, man. You said something pretty interesting, which was like, you've built this community. And, one of the things that I've known since I've met you when, the first time we were at Body Sport shooting content, you have always had a community.
Shout out to Body Sport.
Shout out to Body Sport. Now it's Fit Club, but shout out to Body Sport. Rest in peace. What's his name? Mel passed away.
That is so disrespectful. Yeah. You can't say rest in peace and what's his name?
I forgot what his name was. Mel, rest in peace.
Mel.
But no, even when you were over there, you had a really big community that would always follow you wherever you went. And that was the biggest thing I think that I was drawn to you in the beginning, like through our friendship, is obviously I just met you through bartending and partying, right? Like the crazy days. And but then when I found out that you were doing your own business and you gave me the opportunity to start shooting content with you, I didn't realize like how much people like really like fucked with you. You know what I mean? Because you've always had community, but you've never really had like a home to bring your community to. And I feel like it's so awesome, full circle. Now you're here, you've built the home for your community. It's almost for them. So that instead of them not obviously following you everywhere, but now they have a home too. And so it's really cool, dude.
Well, first, I appreciate you just even acknowledging that. That was pretty deep, man. So it makes me feel really good about, what I'm doing right now currently. But, just to go back on what you said, the biggest thing for me is a lot of people are so focused on the product, right? And the product is the gym. But what you just said, just a little bit ago is the community. And so I put all my time and effort into building the community because I know if I build a community, it will follow, right? I didn't even have a gym at the time. I was at Body Sport Fitness, and I went to Kilo Club for a little bit, and then we went to, remember the warehouse gym where it was just pretty much just
You
us?
were at Mark Tupa's too.
Mark Tupa's. That was one of the first gyms I went to after EOS.
That's why you whooped my ass that one time and I never
I
came
whooped
back.
your ass. You bought a package of 8, motherfucker.
I never came
that was
back.
that was the easiest session of my life. But we'll talk about that a different day. But yeah, obviously, I think what's sustained Savage in such a crazy way and just grown. People say it's overnight, but obviously, this wasn't overnight. This was about an 8-9 year process. But the reason it's thriving is because the community. I put so much time and effort and value into the community. And then I think that's the reason why this business is thriving. Focus on the community and the product will sell. I think a lot of people try to skim that process and just, focus on, let me get a gym first and then I'll build everything. And then it usually fails after year 2, year 3 because they went ass backwards. And so just really build a community, bro. I feel like I could be in a fucking storage unit right now, and I feel like I have a pretty stacked team in here that would say, fuck it, we're gonna work out in this storage unit. And so I don't know, I just appreciate it, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I think that has been one of the biggest things that I have to commend you for is always connecting with the people, the clients that you have. They're so connected to you, right? Like they become like your family, and when you're with them, you're so present with them. Obviously, you get distracted. I'll come by and bother you or say what's up, but for that moment, and then you're with them. That's, as a trainer, when you used to train, you were always so meticulous with being with them, hands-on, every rep. There's only a few trainers that I see do that, right? And so I think with the precision and preciseness of how you train people, and then you took this into this beautiful space. You know what I mean? The same mindset of every little detail matters. Every rep counts, right? Not just every rep counts, but the way you're doing the rep, right? To the way you've laid out every Savage spray paint on the ground to the mirrors in front, right? Every single thing is very calculated. And I think that's why you've been so successful as well too with your business. I mean, as a trainer, but now when you go into your business, you're always so precise with things, which is awesome. It's very rare.
Well, detail orientation's huge. I think it's because I have ADHD. I think that's why I'm so into paint, and I love painting, and painting's been a special place for me, just personally. But yeah, ADHD for sure kind of helped me get through to attention to detail. But it's just setting the standard, dude. I think that's what building a community was. I didn't have a space to go call home just yet, but I did have clients that believed in me and supported me, dude. I have clients that are down this list that hopefully watch this and just know that y'all played a huge impact into my life and into my brand and business. But giving them my all and then really setting that standard. And I think that's what's grown, like I said, Savage, is just because, I put so much effort and attention to detail to the beginning steps, because I realized those beginning steps are probably the most important steps in actually building, your house, your castle, whatever you want to call it. So, attention to detail. That's really all that is. But yeah, I appreciate that, bro. Yeah.
For sure, man. And so let's take it back a little bit. In the beginning of building this thing, right? You had the vision, right? And you had the idea and the concept. You have the community, but you wanted a space. What did it take out of you? Because I'm sure you've never done this before, right? And so what did it take from you to get to let's say actually getting the building and dialing it in?
Well, first off, obviously it's a generic answer, but you have to be so infatuated and crazy about your vision and dreams. And so you know me for how long? About 6-7 years? It's been a minute, dude. And so I've talked to you when I said I wanted to open my gym, and I painted this picture, not very clearly, right? If the way I talked to you, did you vision this right now, what it is, just by what I've told you?
For sure.
And so, 5-6 years ago, dude, I had to be so insane and crazy where people were like, bro, this fool, he does too many drugs because he's just tripping about his dreams. There's no way that's possible. Many people told me that, not just my friends or followers, it's just my family. And, I was the black sheep that was like, bro, this guy's fucking far out right now. So I had to really almost create this affirmation and this belief and this perception on what it is now. And I think we just attract, dude. Everything's energy, everything's, frequency and vibration. So, if you're at that positive, upper higher energy, bro, you're going to attract higher things. And so if you're around lower frequencies and all that, what are you going to attract? Obviously that negativity and the stuff that you maybe don't really want to put no attention to. So, it's just crazy. Like I said, I visioned this gym like 7 years ago, and honestly, y'all see it right now, and it's only about 40%. Like there's
that's
still
the crazy part about
that's
it,
the crazy
right?
part.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
actually seen the finished product of this gym,
Yeah.
and it's nowhere nearly close to what it is right now.
For sure.
And so I just can't wait to show you guys that, and when all these start unraveling out of my head and actually start playing into the space itself. But yeah, man, it's just crazy. It's just the consistency and the commitment and just being so fucking invested on the belief of this,
Yeah. Let me ask you on a personal level, how do you stay consistent with those times when, like, because I'm sure, like you shared, like, nobody believed in you and your family's like, this is kind of crazy. A lot of people said, like, building a gym is ridiculous. Like, you're never going to profit. And, you profited in like the first 6 months or a year, right? You're
First
in the green.
year,
Yeah, first year. And so within those moments when you're like in it, and I know there's those days where like, how the fuck am I going to do this, right? Like, how did you get out of those conversations and just like push through?
Well, I've always had the hustle mindset. So, as a guy, you always like, we sold drugs. And so to sell drugs, bro, you got to have that hustle mindset.
Yeah.
So I've always had the like grind 7 days a week. Let's go get it. No sleep. I had that. I think what really helped me and dial in was actually diving deep mentally. Right. And so I think, it was like 4 or 5 years ago, the story, bro. And so the story's kind of crazy. 4 or 5 years ago, I was in my most darkest times. And I remember like just being tired, right? Life was just so heavy. And I wasn't like tired like I wanted to sleep. I was just tired. Like the world was just so heavy, man. I just felt like me as a man, I can no longer stand on my own 2 feet. And I was really just like, bro, it's time. And I remember it's when Tati texted you. Remember that? Tati texted you. And I remember like kind of saying goodbye to you guys. And I remember wanting to go into the bathtub. I'm a Virgo too, so I'm very clean. And so I went in the bathtub because I didn't want to get my rug dirty. That's crazy, right?
Bro.
Is that crazy?
That is nuts. Yeah,
So I went into my bathtub and I remember grabbing my gun. And just to say this, I have a very expensive gun collection. And so it's not a Walmart gun.
No.
So I want you guys to understand the story. It's not like a Walmart gun that just malfunctioned or like a 1992 whatever pistol. But I put that gun in my mouth because I was so tired. And it was the most easiest decision in my life to pull the trigger because it didn't take me long to pull that trigger. And I pulled the trigger and nothing went off. And in that very moment, I remember getting out of my bathtub, looking in the mirror, and that's the first time I have ever looked, not at myself, but actually at my soul, so deep into my eyes where I connected, and I said 3 words that I've never said to myself ever, and it was, I love you. And I said those 3 words, and I just broke down crying. And I was like, that's the first time I felt peace within me. Because I have so much chaos. I've been fighting my demons, back to back. And I think that's the reason why I was so exhausted. But it was the first time I finally looked at my inner child who's just been thrown in the corner in a fucking dark room that we've just been throwing rocks at and hitting with the belt and beating. And it was just so beat up where it was just in the corner. And it was like, fuck, like I don't trust nobody. And I almost had this like out of body experience where I almost saw my inner child and I grabbed its hand. And it took a second for it to grab my hand because it's like, bro, you've been just beating me up. Like, I don't fucking trust you, fool.
Yeah.
And then finally, like, my inner child grabbed my hand. I remember pulling it up. And ever since then, man, it's been changed my life. It changed my life. Just that alone. But man, dude, I've dealt with, repossession of my cars, eviction notices, power out. And I think after that moment, I couldn't afford it at the time. I got a membership to Lifetime, right? And Lifetime's fucking ridiculously expensive. They're spending like $900 a month now. I don't even know what it is, but it's crazy. So the reason I'm getting to this story is though, I couldn't afford it, right? I think the first 3 months of my membership, every fucking time I walked in there, they were like, excuse me, Mr. Mayor Fuentes, your membership is late. And then everyone looks at me. I'm like, bitch, why you gotta do it so loud? Like, but the point I'm getting at is I got a membership at Lifetime, couldn't afford it, but I needed to be around a certain group, a certain community, because the community I was around was very negative. They were always talking down. They were always complaining, always, pointing fingers. And that's affected me. I was a very, 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 very vulnerable mindset that knew he wanted to change, but just didn't know how to go about it. So first things first, I was like, what do I know? The gym. Got a membership at Lifetime. First 3 months, dude, I remember going almost every day, all throughout the day, because I was trying to see when was the good time that I wanted to be around that type of crowd. And so I realized around the morning crowd, about 5 a.m., was the crowd of entrepreneurs, right? People that were getting ready to go start their stock day, whatever. So I wanted to be around then. And then so I would go in the sauna, and then I would sit in there with headphones, but no music on, because I just wanted to hear the conversation. Okay. I wanted to hear how they were talking, what driven them, what are they talking about, what's their mood, are they complaining, are they being negative, are they talking positive? And all their conversations were so positive and like, yeah, we're gonna go get this, we're gonna go make this happen, we're gonna go do that. All like fucking like solid shit. And I was like, bro, like, I'm not around these type of people. Yeah. And I started questioning shit. And I remember going into my hole for like, dude, 2 years. I didn't talk to really nobody. I didn't really have no friends. I honestly don't think people like me just because they're like, bro, Chris don't do shit. Like, fuck him. But I really had to like get myself away from, everything that's been like negative and holding me back. And that's including myself, and like really start attracting the good things. And so one thing led to another. I changed my mindset, obviously dove deep with mental health and, breath work and affirmations, and all that stuff. And here we are,
Wow, dude.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, I don't know if that even answered your question, but that's just where it led. So that's what we're doing. I'm just letting it go wherever it needs to go. And so that's how we flow around here.
I love that, dude. That first, like, there is no direction we can't go, right? That's, I think, it's a beautiful thing.
Wow, you should get that tattooed on your lower back.
There's no
for real, for real. That's a good one.
There's no direction that I can't go. But I don't think you've shared that part of that story, dude. Like the such detail of that night. You know what I mean? Like, I know you shared a little bit about it with me, and that you were in that place, but I didn't realize it was right there, and that like that's what happened and led up to that point where it's like, hey, like the universe or God literally said, no, this isn't your time, right? Where like you are literally forceful, ready to go, pulling the trigger is crazy. Like I've had thoughts, right? And I've gotten but I've never and I've thought not necessarily planned it out, but this is fucking exhausting. Like it'd be like, why don't I just? It's easy. It's the easy way out, right?
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, fuck no, I can't. You know what I mean? Like I have my mom, and like I've worked so hard, and like obviously my brother passed away. You know what I mean? It's almost crazy 7 years now, and I'm like, if I go before my mom goes, you know what I mean? That's always been the holding on factor for me. Is like, if I go before my mom goes, my mom would fucking be crushed. You know what I mean? Because she already lost her husband, my dad, right? And then her son, her youngest son, and then so I was like, so that holds me on for so much of like whenever I have those thoughts, you know what I mean? And like, okay, cool, but then again, that's when I was kind of going through my whole thing too, where I was like doing the drugs in and out, like I didn't going like down a rabbit hole, but then wanting to pull myself out, knowing I had better, and then realizing that I had to do the work, and so like going through like choice and a lot of self-development stuff, realizing that stuff and letting it go, realizing that like it is the mindset, but it is also the community. The community is huge. The people that you surround yourself with, the conversations that you have daily on a daily basis is what's going to drive you and create the results that you have in your life. And I think it's such a powerful thing, dude, like full circle, because you had that moment, and then you went to go find a community that's going to empower you, and you went out of your comfort zone and went to Lifetime and sat there and had those conversations and built those relationships, and then therefore from that experience created this gym from that. And now you have almost created a safe space for people to hear those same kind of conversations that they won't be having those conversations if they're at LVAC or EOS or, you know what I mean? Even these other gyms, right? Like that you don't hear those conversations that happen, like the conversations that happen here that are like really deep, really vulnerable. I remember we were sitting down one of the first times we were doing like marketing stuff, And you had that one client come by and she was like, you did that breathwork video or something. It's like, hey, Chris, can I talk to you about something? And she like opened up to you, right? And you're like, hey, like if you want some time, like we can sit tomorrow. I have some time and you can come and we can connect. And it was such a beautiful thing that she was like, I'm not doing okay. You know what I mean? I'm sure you have so many like of those situations here. You know what I mean? But that was that one when I was like, wow, like that's really fucking cool, you know?
Well, you know, what's powerful about that is, you know, one, you got to experience that. So obviously you're able to see all that good stuff. But the amount of messages I've gotten, if they haven't said anything to me in person, I'll get messages and they'll say, hey, I just want to say thank you for your space because I'm able to come to it right now. I'm struggling mentally. I'm in a really dark place, and I just want you to know that your space has saved my life. Wow. And I'm like, fuck. Let's go back to you, though. Obviously, you know, you said so much, but you didn't let me, you know, interact with, you know, anything, because I've known you for a very long time. And so when I've seen you, you know, with your mom and obviously your brother, people don't realize, bro, we partied so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Right? When I talk about Arthur, like, all my circle, I have like, dude, 15 people on my close friends. So my people know me and Arthur. Arthur was one of the most craziest motherfuckers I knew. And so, you know, to see where we're at now is absolutely insane. So I just want to applaud you, man. Like, a lot of your growth has wanted me to grow. And so I just want to say this was also because of you. And so that's another thing. I didn't build Savage through me. I built through from connections and energy and moments I've made in the last 7 years, and that's what all I've created with this. Yeah. It's like the fucking Willy Wonka factory in here.
That's awesome.
But no, I just want to say, you know, let's acknowledge that, man. You have really grown in so many crazy ways. But yeah, where were we getting?
I appreciate that, dude. I always forget about how far we've came, you know what I mean? Because there were those days where, like, yeah, we were doing lines in the walk-in of the bar at GameWorks. Like, this is Chris. I know, you know, as I'm saying this out loud, I think about how terrible it was because we're at a kids establishment where little children are running around playing arcade games, and we're behind the bar doing bumps of Coke in the bar and then taking shots. Think about how, and the kids with their parents running around. Like, that is that crazy to think about.
When you put it that way, take me to jail. Seriously, just take me to jail. Let's just go to jail right now. Like, holy shit.
I didn't think about how bad it was until this very moment. Because we always joke about that.
This very moment, you realize how bad that was?
I mean, I joke all the time about, like, us doing drugs in the walk-in, but not realizing, like, kids were around. You know what I mean? Like,
birthday parties and shit.
Like,
people singing happy birthday. We're just doing fucking snow in the fucking freezer.
Crazy. Oh, right? Man. So no, thank you for the acknowledgement, man. That, and it's I always forget how far I've came. You know, I just read this book called The Gap and the Gain, and they always talk about measuring backwards, not measuring forward. Like, not measuring from the ideal comparison of what you think you should be, or comparing yourself. But the biggest thing is measuring backwards, right? Measuring from where you started versus measuring where you think you should be. Because if you measure where you think you should be, you're always going to be chasing the horizon, and the horizon never comes. And so being able to look back like that and be like, wow, like, we were there. Especially when I had those rough days, right? Where I'm like, oh, you know, I'm comparing myself to other people, or I'm just like, fuck, like, I should be farther ahead than I am. But then I have conversations like this where, like, damn, like, what was that? 8 years ago, I was doing cocaine at the kids' party behind in the walk-in where kids are having birthday parties. You know what I mean? So, like, these moments right here are awesome because it allows me to, like, really reflect and think about how far I've came, but then we've came together, you know. And so I've been measuring backwards a lot lately. I mean, even if it's like a month or even the 24 hours, right? Like, how much have I gained in the last 24 hours of my life? And so this is a really cool reflection point. So I appreciate thank you for the acknowledgement, but then also just, you know.
I'm about being present, you know. I think, you know, we've been in such of a hustle, fight and flight, cortisol-driven, you know, mindset for the last couple years. It almost feels so good to just be present now. Yep. And me being present has been able to allow me to grow intellectually, spiritually, mentally, and it's been able to allow me to reflect. And so I'm able to now go back and be like, you know, I'm kind of beating myself up about what I did today, but you know what? Fuck, look where I've come from. Yeah. Like, look what I've done. And so it's really helped me create a little more self-love. for myself, because I was my biggest enemy. I was probably my most loudest and craziest demon, was the self pain I was trying to inflict on myself. And just from, so that's just huge. But yeah, just mindset alone was crazy for us. I mean, I know we were reflecting about the past, and when you put it up like that with the kids, holy shit, man, take me to jail.
For sure,
but no, I just had to bring it up because I don't people realize how gnarly our story was.
Yeah.
And so now look what we're doing, man. Choice has been a crazy experience for me. I wouldn't have done that without you. So shout out to Robin. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Everything else has been good.
Yeah.
I mean, what's been going on with you?
I wanted to add what you just said about like being present, right? I know you have a lot of what you call demons. You have a shirt that says, like kill the demons or whatever. And so I want to talk about how do you kill the demons or allow yourself to tame them in a space of chaos that your natural being is like in a space of survival. And so what are some of the things that you do to allow yourself to be present from those automatics that you have?
Damn, good question. That was a good one. Way to get very deep and dive deep. But
That's
yeah,
what we're here for, dude.
Well,
like,
shit, here we are. That Kill Your Demon shirt that I made.
Yeah.
Hands down, my favorite shirt I've ever
It's
made.
dope, dude.
It's a dope
fire.
shirt, and it means so much to me because Kill Your Demons, right? It's pretty much our demons, our inner voices that are literally like telling us we can't do something, or we're not worth it, or we're not loved, or we're not loved, or whatever. And so I'm trying to say kill your demons because that's going to help you, obviously elevate and grow. We had to quiet them down. But I think what's helped me, work out on that was, I guess it was just being more vulnerable with my story and just talking and doing breath work and realizing, I have to be uncomfortable for a long amount of time to grow. I think people, when they deal with problems, they immediately allow it to overwhelm their current situation. And so biggest thing for us is if we're able to dive deep and just be more present and control our emotions and our thoughts, we're able to get through the day. And so I always try to say, if something happens in the morning, I'm not going to let it affect my afternoon. And so that's just from a lot of growth within, allowing me to be mature and really work on patience and, thought and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I think watching you have very, and I think this, like, when I see you and we talk, I think the biggest thing that I see on the outside, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is you have these really powerful habits. Like, your habits in the morning are hands down, like, the best I've ever seen. Like, I get motivated watching you because, I see you doing, like, sometimes you'll share on your Instagram where you're doing breath work, or you're in the red light and you're like meditating, and you do a lot of that daily. And then even, dude, the biggest thing that I'm inspired by is the affirmations that you and your daughter do. It's huge. Like, I love that shit. And I'm like, wow, like, you're with your daughter saying, I am powerful. I am love. I am loved. Like, that shit, like, I forget to do that to myself. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow. Like, so those patterns and, I mean, those habits that you've created, the routines, I think are so huge for that. And I think, I mean, for me looking in, I'm pretty sure that has helped you, a lot. And like, I'm working on my own things like that too. And so I know when I meditate every morning, it definitely supports me, but you take it to the next level, which is awesome, dude. And not a lot of people, I don't think, know that of you,
Well, a lot of people always talk to me and ask like, hey, I see you do meditation and they want me to teach stuff. But I am so overwhelmed with social media at times. Obviously, I have, Liz and Layla kind of run my social media now. But when I do stuff like that on that personal level, I actually just do it for myself now. I always forget to like, let's post a tripod and like film this meditation because it's my time to be with myself.
Yeah.
And I realize, first thing in the morning, we have to really focus on the intention of the day. And I can't start my day in a positive way or a successful way if I'm still thinking about yesterday's problems or, whatever the situation was. And I'm already thinking in a fight and flight way. And usually when I'm in fight and flight, chaos erupts, right? And so the best thing for me is just really starting that morning routine. And affirmations are huge. I did that with, obviously Mila. And I realize it's the perceptions we have for ourselves. So you just saying, the two most powerful words in the dictionary is I am, because what follows I am is your reality, right? So if you say I am weak, you're weak.
Yeah.
I am a failure, you're a failure. And so I was saying these affirmations to myself 5, 6, 7 years ago. Those were my demons talking to me.
Yeah.
You are a failure. You're a loser. You're a bum. You don't deserve all that. And I let that play into me so much. And then I started doing breath work, calming myself down, really aligning myself, calming myself down, recentering, reprogramming the way I think, how I act, how I move, what I listen to. I stopped listening to all this negative rap music.
Bro, that right there.
That alone, bro. I think that's why society is so dumb. These mumble rappers are like crazy to me. And I think that's the reason why they're so popular, because they don't want you to get educated from the music. But yes, I listen to podcasts. I used to go to, Lifetime and obviously be around that type of energy, but I would also listen to motivational podcasts, right? And so in the morning, I'm just listening to motherfuckers in my ear like, Joe Dispenza, Eric Thomas, David Goggins, people like that in my ear, because I wanted to be associated with that type of energy and that type of crowd.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy. You said something so powerful, is the music, right? And there's multiple things that you said I want to touch base on.
I love music.
Oh, I know
so
you do.
People really know I love music.
But dude, the frequency at which those songs were recorded on, right? And the words that are in these songs, right? The energy that's putting out, and then you listening to them, right? And filling your mind with those kind of thoughts and ideas will literally create the world that you want to live in. And, a friend of mine says a powerful quote.
That was powerful. No, for real. That was powerful.
Right?
And I don't think people think that so deeply about the music they're listening to, right?
It's
that
incredible.
alone is frequency and vibrations you're
Absolutely
putting in your body.
Yeah.
And so maybe we just smoke a lot and do a lot of drugs, or maybe we're talking to the truth, okay?
So maybe just a little bit.
Or a little bit of both, but whatever the case.
There's a very famous quote, and my friend lives by this one, and it was Napoleon Hill, and he says, "We are what we think about most of the time, and we turn into our thoughts, and our thoughts create our reality." And so when whatever we think, we're going to believe no matter what, but we have the power to change those thoughts whenever we want in an instant, right?
Absolutely.
And it's such a crazy thing to think about, because it's all realistically, our thoughts dictate our feelings, and then our feelings dictate, or I think it's thoughts, feelings,
yes,
and then our way of being, right? And so when we go to thinking about the power of what we believe in, or the story that we're living by in that moment, whatever story that you tell yourself that day is going to be the truth, no matter what. But also, it's not, because it's just a story, right? It's just a thought and it's just an idea, and it's how you frame it. And so what you said, the music changing, I didn't know that's crazy. That so you used to listen, you loved all that gangster rap, and I mean I do too. There's
I still do,
for sure,
but
because think on the flip side of the light, there's a dark, right? And we're gonna go really deep for a second. When you have light, you have darkness, and we always have a shadow side with us, which is the demon side, the dark side, whatever you want to call it. That exists in us. So then when we have these things, we enjoy that, because there is that.
Well, there are temptations.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
human, but it's part of us where we lean into the dark, deep. Even though we don't want to admit it, a lot of people stuff that shit down, don't do it.
Yeah.
But it's part of us, but that's okay to lean into that. But to be aware of what I'm hearing you say is to be aware of how you're listening to it, when you're listening to it, and if you're choosing to listen to something different, like podcasts. I know when you're on your Stairmaster, you're always listening to audibles or podcasts.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. It's crazy. I don't even listen to music as much. And when I do, me and Tati are listening to some lo-fi, or I've been really liking the fucking saxophone.
Oh, really?
I play the piano low-key.
I forgot about the piano.
Yeah, bro. I've been loving
God.
the piano. It's I've been loving that type of music.
For sure.
Because the beat itself really makes the music itself.
Yeah.
So that was huge for me. But yeah, it's just diving deep on what are you putting inside you? What are you listening to? And we can even take it to another level. We are in a gym. The food we eat, right? And so I think that's the reason I became so focused on going to Sprouts and Whole Foods and getting the good organic, making sure I could read all the ingredients, right? Because we're adding inflammation and all this processed foods in our body that are causing our cortisol levels to go up.
Yeah.
So we might be, we might be mentally, conscious up here because we do our breath work and affirmations. But if we're feeding our body McDonald's and dog shit, your body's kind of fucking with each other right now.
Well, you said something very powerful that I've been learning, and kind of I'm not there yet, but you've always been a very clean eater.
You can be there.
I will be there.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Okay.
But you've always been a very conscious eater, right? And the thing that I've learned is our stomach, our gut is a second brain.
They say it has a second brain.
It has the neurons, and it
Yes.
has it's connected, and it has thoughts, and it has it can think And that's why when you're feeling it from your gut, like intuition, you feel that in your gut, not from your brain when you have those feelings. It's your gut's telling you something. And
1000%. I agree with you.
Having that locked in is such an important thing, dude. You know.
Yes. Yeah. So yes, you're right. Food is huge.
Yeah.
Right. So what are you putting in your body?
Yeah.
Music you're putting in your body. What are you reading? What are you watching?
Yeah.
And then also another thing that people do not want to give up is, who are you talking to? Like, who are your friends?
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people are willing to sacrifice their future because they're afraid to be alone. And so they might be with a spouse that maybe is not motivating or inspiring them. Maybe they have a group of friends that are like just so negative and just always bashing. But yet, you know they're not good for you, but you don't have the strength enough to fear being alone. Knowing that I have to get rid of these people, but I'm going to be by myself for a while to grow and be better. And some people ain't willing to sacrifice that for their future. And that's what's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, it just takes a couple simple steps.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't want to take those steps, even though that they know those are the steps they need to take to be successful. People just don't want to be uncomfortable. You know, discomfort is such a crazy feeling that nobody wants to feel. I mean, look at society now. Like, you could literally order your groceries off this couch right now and they get delivered. They want you to be as comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
They want us to stay right here. You know, my ass is up, moving, eyes open. I'm checking everything. So they don't like motherfuckers like me.
No.
They want motherfuckers that are like zoned in right here watching fucking Love Island.
Yeah.
No offense to anyone that watches Love Island, but fuck, if you ain't at your goals, you shouldn't be watching Love Island, baby boy.
No, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
No, dude, you know what's crazy is that part right there, like the friends, because it's like we're so easily tempted. Like, we know we're not having conversations that are good and healthy, and every time we go hang out with our friends, the back of our minds like, oh, I'm not gonna drink today. And then you go hang out with your friends because they invite you out, but then they're like, why aren't you drinking? Oh, stop being a pussy. Oh, come on, dog, just take one shot, dude. You're being gay. And then they're bashing you, but then you're trying to be better. And I think that was a big thing with me when I was becoming sober, is I would still want to go out with my friends because it was lonely. But then I realized every single time I went out, I'd get peer pressured into drinking. Like, they're, dog, just take a shot, dude, or just do this line. And I'm like, fuck. And then I wasn't strong enough. So I had to separate myself for like 3 months. I'm like, I'm locking myself in my room. I'm not going out. I'm saying no. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm committed to this shit. Yes. You know what I mean? And that's what it really took from me, dude. And this was even after choice, because I was still like, I was on like this motivational high, but I was still like fucking up, and I was still beating myself up every time I like did break it. And I was like, I'm not strong enough right now, and that's okay. And that's I think a big part is like I just recognizing that, but then acknowledging I want to create something different, but I got to pull myself out of a situation and create something totally different. But I can't do this in my things, but people don't want to do that because it's hard, bro. Because it's literally like I'm watching Instagram, I'm on stories, and people are going out, and I'm like, fuck, like I can be there right now. Like, my friends' stories were lit. You know, I've sent you crazy ass stories. We won't talk about those on this.
No, we won't. It's not allowed. It's not allowed.
But seeing that stuff, and I'm like, fuck. And then a lot of times I would break, you know, when I was trying to. And so like really having the people around you and you having to tell yourself, no, like, I want something better for my life. Let me create my own environment and create something totally different. But it does take effort. It does take presence. Like, I am wanting that change so bad, because you can either live technically comfortable, but at the back of your mind, you're not comfortable. You're hating your life. You're miserable, right? Or you can lean into the discomfort, lean into the uncomfortable, and fucking suffer for a little bit, but it's not as bad as suffering for a lifetime.
Absolutely.
Right? Or ending your life.
Yeah, but people can't comprehend that, right? And I think what drove me so much was my fear actually was me being 80 years old, right? My old ass. I'm Asian though, so you know we age well. So I'll probably still look like I'm 50. So fuck all you guys.
You look like a baby if you shave your face.
You know, for real. Anyways, I don't want to be 80 years old on a rocking chair, you know, fucking rocking back and forth, you know, twiddling my thumbs and being like, man, I wish I would have tried in life. Right?
Yeah.
And so I always thought to myself, it's like, I could still be a lazy piece of shit that goes out all the time, that drinks, that does drugs, that knows I'm not happy, but, you know, I could just continue those days. Or, you know what, let me give this life that I live one shot. Yeah. And let me just give it my all, right? And when I said I give it my all, what you said earlier is like being strong enough to know that you had to get away from that, so you would say no, is actually the first step on changing, right? It's that acknowledgement of you saying, I'm not strong to say no to these people, And so I have to just not be around them.
Yeah.
Or that thing or that fucking potion, if we're talking about, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for you saying that alone, I think that's the biggest step on transformation in life, is being aware of, okay, this is the beginning stages for me. I want change. I want something different. I know I'm not mentally prepared to say no to people or things. And so I have to remove myself from that, which is going to cause discomfort, where I'm going to be uncomfortable for who knows how long, right? And so, people have transformation weeks, months, years, but you have to be so invested on your self-care and your self-growth and the change you're seeking that you're willing to go years, 365 days, day in and day out, with maybe not even seeing results. And so I think that's what happened with me during the beginning of the years of Savage, because I was grinding and I was hustling and I was tired, but I believed that I was going to create this. I believed it, right? But I didn't see the results. So there were times where I wasn't mentally strong enough, where I went to my apartment, where I had the eviction notice on my door, and I'm like, I can't do this. Yeah. I have to go back to bartending. And those voices would come back in my head, and I would consider them those my demons. Because even though, look what I created, if I would have listened to them, bro, who knows if I would even be alive right now, to be totally real with you, right? Yeah. So me really focusing on that, and I don't know, man, it's just been a crazy journey. And so I know we're always back to square one again, man. I love this, man. I love you. You have literally been by my side through thick and thin, and I just appreciate you, bro. You're a brother of mine, and so just know that, okay?
It means a lot, man. Love you, brother. Thank you.
When we get married, me and Tati, I want you to be the ring bearer.
Me and you were getting married.
Tati, if it doesn't work out, I'm probably gonna go this way, to be real with you, just because we could hang out and chill. I'm not even worried about nothing else. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. I'm getting old. I just want to hang out with my boys. So if that's gonna be it, let's do it. But no, what I was gonna say is, when me and Tati get married, you're gonna be my ring bearer. Okay? You walk down the aisle. It's just
me and Mila holding her hand.
There it is. All right. Roses. Anyways, I don't know. Over here. But fuck. Shit.
No, you're good, bro. Thank you for the acknowledgement. It means a lot, dude. And likewise, dude. We've been through our ups and downs, and you've always been a brother. Sometimes you're a hard-headed brother, but you have such good intentions in your heart, and I think that's what makes you so unique, is the vulnerability that you do, the way you show up, and it's not perfect, it's not pretty, and you're raw, you're real, and authentic, and that is what people are drawn to you by.
Yeah, but some people aren't, some people aren't ready for that, right? And so I'm very real, raw, and authentic. Yeah. I feel like a Slim Jim when you say that. You know what I'm saying? When you talk to me like that. I thought it was it sounded so crazy. But no, people don't like that. Some people don't like that. I think that's the reason why, I have such a small circle, because people want everything served to them on a warm platter. And, reality is the world's not perfect. There's so many situations that people try to just forget or just brush to the side like it's not important. No, if you want to change in life, and if you want to be in my circle, you need to lead by example, right? Yeah. So we're going to all set the standard. You're not going to come in my circle and get what you want, and then you not provide anything. So I'm only going to give my time to people. And people don't like that real shit, bro. Yeah. I think that's the reason why, some people don't like me, but I think that's the reason why people love me.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, dude, it's building that community and building that.
Yeah.
That's what Savage is, bro.
Yeah.
For real.
It's it's a powerful thing that you're sharing about that part, because I'm learning that the people that make a difference, that really make a change, are going to be the people that are very opinionated and controversial, but they're so passionate about what they believe in. But that's the polarity, because you're going to draw in people that are passionate as well. And you don't, unfortunately, want the people that are half in, half out. You want all-inners around your circle. You know what I mean? And you're an all-inner. And it's unfortunate, because the thing is, when when you're all in, you get very passionate and things happen, but people look at that oh, he's too much, or he's a dick, or this and that. No, dude, you have these standards, and you have to surround yourself with those people to align on that level. But then you're gonna have the opposite that are oh, he's too much. But then you're gonna have the people that are dude, I love this. I want to be around more of this. I need more passion. That's what a leader is. You know what I mean? The biggest leaders in life had as much haters as they had people that adored them and loved them. You know what I mean? Like there's always going to be that duality. When there's something so good, there's always going to be some bunch of people that are going to hate it, no matter what. You cannot love.
Well, look at sports. You got Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Tom Brady. You know, people hate
and there
them.
Are people,
and people
I was
love
gonna say
them.
that. I was gonna say a lot of people love them, but then there are people that still talk shit, and it's like,
well, it's those people that hate greatness because they weren't willing to put the work in, and so it's just those people. And so that's another thing, though.
it's intimidating.
Like, I guess too now, but no, I'm to a point now, bro. I don't even care no more. Like, I'm at such a mature age now where like I got the people I need in my life. I got this business. I got the community we're growing. I got my close circle, and bro, that's all I really need. Yeah. And I think that's what success has been for me lately. You know, for the longest, I was chasing fucking money because I didn't know, I wasn't educated on nothing else, right? When you grow up in poverty, or we weren't really broke, but man, like we struggled, with our money, just trying to pay bills and just getting by month to month, man. That's tiring and exhausting. Yeah. I remember I would go into the fucking Albertsons, right? I'd go inside Albertsons because it was right next to my apartment, and I would log into my Chase Bank account, and I would see my balance, and it'd be like $33.14. And so my ass literally many times would go into this grocery store knowing what I needed to get, go down the aisle, put it in the cart, and then pull my calculator out and do the math because I was so afraid to be embarrassed of going to the register. And then I had this long ass line behind me, and this lady's like, "Sir, your card is denied."
Yeah.
Like she's on the microphone. Denied.
Christopher Mayer Fuentes.
Ray Mayer Fuentes, social security number. No, you know what I'm saying? But no, I was at that point, of my life where I was really at that type of poverty. But where was I getting with this? I just dove deep into where I've come from, but it's just more of, I don't know, man. Like I'm at such a mature age now where, I was chasing money, but now I realize what is actually happiness is just chasing my peace. Yeah. Me just being really just conscious of every moment I'm in, whether it's here on this couch, not worrying about my phone or worrying about anything outside of this right now. Yeah. When I'm with my family, I'm focused on them. That's why I have 2 phones so I can put one away. Like, bro, like I'm so like present now, and I noticed me just being present has created so many more relationships. Yeah. I was such a selfish person back in the day, and I was so alone, and I would, bro, I was bad, bro. Like I was robbing motherfuckers. I was doing any way to come up, bro. I was selling pills. I was doing whatever. I was trying to find the quickest way to come up. And I think that's what every boy does when they grow up if they're not educated in the proper way. Yeah. So we're just thinking of every fucking hustle. Let's make clothes. Let's do this. Let's sell that, right? And so, because we have no education behind it. But once I, went to Lifetime, shout out to my boy Rupee, man. He's like my mentor. Dude, this guy's, 50 plus, bro, just crushing it, killing it. He's literally just gave me nothing but knowledge for free. Like, he's literally took me out to lunch, dinner, that, Jamie, obviously. And so just being around that mindset and understanding, finances and having a better relationship with them, but also understanding to have, success in life, it's actually not finances. It's actually what comes with finances. Yeah. It's actually your time to be more here. I'm able to enjoy moments like this. I'm here to be with my family. I'm able to create memories. And so I'm just trying to get that peace and that freedom from my success. And that's what I've been playing with lately, man. It's beautiful, bro. Like it's beautiful. And so I don't know. I mean,
I think that's the journey, the entrepreneurial journey. And it's funny because a lot of people like, I want to be an entrepreneur and run my own business. They don't realize how fucking hard it is in the beginning. Like it's tough, bro.
It's so hard.
Right. But the thing is, we do all of this.
So hard.
Don't do it. Don't fucking do it.
It's your inner voice talking. Don't do it.
Just work a regular 9 to 5. Work the safe job. No, but the reward though, you're at that part where it's the freedom, the peace, where you can just take a breath, but it comes with so much. You have to put in the work. You have to really, want the thing that you're after. You know what I mean? And this is a testament to that. And to hear that you found peace and you're in the space of being present and connecting is so huge. Because it's funny because that's what you've been chasing forever, right? And I think that's what we've all been chasing is like, I just want to be at peace. Right? Like, I don't need the crazy shit. I don't need all the shit. I just want to be at peace and just be happy. Have a little thing, not have to worry about, checking my bank account to see if I can afford this meal, this lunch, right? Or afford this for myself or my daughter or my friends. You know what I mean? Like, that's where we all want to get to. And so to see that you're here is awesome. You know what I mean? And I'm sure there's going to be another mountain to climb here soon, right? But at this very moment, like, I think that's that journey. And dude, it's a beautiful one, man.
I honestly, just when you talk, I forget we're on a podcast.
What
You know, I'm
talking
just like, God damn, I'd be forgetting that the mic's here and the camera's here. And I kind of zone out. I'm like,
am I that good?
no, because you're saying some deep shit. And like, I haven't heard, you know, it's good to hear stuff like this, right?
For
on
sure.
both sides,
Yeah.
you know, from, you know, you being aware of situations and you just bringing awareness to me about certain situations.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I'd be forgetting the fucking cameras here. My fault. Because I'm like, bro, I'm so into this.
That's
So
how it is. It's supposed to be. And so this is the juice, bro. This is why I love these things and doing this, because
what kind of, are you talking about the podcast?
Just
or you,
no, me and you
Oh,
connecting.
talking.
Me and you
Oh,
connecting,
okay.
just
I didn't
talking,
know if you were
like,
trying to sell us something.
No,
right
well, this is the conversation about the people. I'm gonna go back for a second with like the people in your circle. When I have conversations with you, I feel like I am gaining. It's not like it's pulling out. Like, you know, when you have people in your life that you're like, fuck, I gotta go. Like, they want to hang out. You don't want to be a dick. You don't want to be a dick, but you give your energy because they're like, you love them.
Yeah,
But you have love for them, but like, it's like, dude, it's like when you're in the conversation, it's always negative, complaining. It's like you're pulling teeth, and it feels like they're draining the energy out of you.
But
right?
you also have to be mature enough to say, I'm no longer going to be in a relationship with that type of person.
Yes,
right?
but then sometimes it's family, right? Sometimes you have family, or sometimes.
But I had to let family go too because of that. So
exactly.
I don't want to use that F word too frequently
for
because
sure.
it doesn't matter who it is. We got to be mature enough to cut those.
Absolutely.
But yeah, go on.
Well, yeah. So like the thing is, there are those people that are take from you. They're always like complaining. They're asking you for
Leeches.
advice.
We like to call them leeches.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then there are conversations like this where they're fulfilling. I feel like when I leave the conversation with you, I feel like I've gained something. Whether it's, you know what I mean, deep like this, or we're creating some stuff, or we're just chatting. Like, I feel good that I gave value. I feel like you've given me value. Just, you know, just in let's say it's a 2 to 3 minute conversation, 5 minute conversation. Like, these are the conversations that I love, especially these deep ones, you know what I mean? And obviously having opportunities like this to sit down and obviously, like, you know, get on a podcast and get deep.
Yeah.
But on the other level of that is just being able to have conversations with people and have people in my life that I can have these. I'm so blessed because I'm not used to have that before, you know?
Well, stop that right there. Okay, now keep that train of thought. Freeze. So first things first, right? Can we create a day for you where every person you interact with, you have that type of energy response from? Right, so you just see how to talk with me. Every time you talk with me, you feel fucking lifted. Like, I just charge you, right?
Sure.
And that's what relationships should be. And we got to understand,
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, some people might need a charge from us, and we got to be. We love them
Right.
so much, we're willing to give them some of our energy because we
Yeah,
got to pick them back
absolutely,
up. But at the end of the day, though, we have to be around people that are having mostly positive conversations.
Yeah.
So anyways, you talk to me, you feel fucking motivated. You're about to go invent something. Good for you. But now imagine the next 12 conversations you had that exact same day, or with that same type of mindset and that same type of energy and that fulfillment of life.
For sure.
Imagine where you'll be in life, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's what Savage is. And that's why I've literally did members only. That's the reason why I've literally interviewed every single member that's walked in here. Not because I'm trying to like have no perverts or nothing. I really want people to know the power of energy. You let one negative situation over time take over, it will corrupt the whole space.
Yeah.
And I don't care how solid it is. And so we have to be aware of that. And so just same thing with you, bro. It's like really just attracting better conversations your way. And that's what the community here at Savage is. And bro, can you imagine how successful people can be if they're in that type of setting 7 days a week, 24/7? You're literally affirmation after affirmation because everything we're talking about right now is I am great. I am, even though we're saying sentences, but in that sentence is saying I am great. I'm unstoppable.
Well, it's not even the sentences, though. It's the energy that's radiating off of us, right? And each individual
Music.
compounding on
Music. That's what music is,
Yeah.
right? That's it right there.
Yeah. But then you have the actual physical beings in the space vibrating those frequencies, giving that energy off, compounding on top of each other. It's like it's a breeding. What do you call it? It's like a breeding pool of just possibility.
Whoa.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
there's a word I'm looking for, but
podcast is getting a little
I'm not
gnarly.
gonna look for it right now. But it's basically like a. It's not like a chamber, but like, you know, when a lot of great minds get together.
Yes. I'm joking with you.
But you get what I'm saying, right?
I get it. Yeah.
And I think that's what happens, right? It's like you feel empowered, you have a conversation, like I said, and then I walk away. Most of the time when I'm having a conversation with you, those are my conversations consistently with people in my life. Like, you know how I have talked. Then I'll go like talk to other people here, or when I leave, I'm just juiced up, calling people. I'm on conversations. I'm on that energy, and so that's what I think is created here. Like, and then when that happens, they leave this space, and then they create that ripple effect into the world where you're like, I just had, like, let's say it's, you know, 2 clients or 2 people just connecting and it's on that high frequency. Then they just like, I just had a great workout with my trainer, having a great conversation. Then on the way out, I connected with another member that had a great conversation and we were just connected. And then I walked out of here like, oh my God. And then I'm like high vibing, right? Having those vibrations, frequency. And that's what vibe is. Vibrations, by the way. That's crazy, right? I'm vibing. Like, we're fucked. Anyways. And then that,
I love the attire that we got going on. You got mushrooms on your shirt right now. You know, we got obviously the weed on the table. So obviously we're far out right now, but just hoping y'all flowing with us. But no,
you get what I'm saying? And then so then the next people that they have interactions with their rest of their day, they're still getting those vibrations from that person, from how they started their day. And so it compounds, and then you're just creating a ripple effect into the world of just positive vibration, all from a single space or just having a space that creates that, right?
Well, shout out to the Savage community because, you know, obviously I instilled, you know, setting the standard, and setting the standard is on all levels. But, you know, the trainers in here, man, they set the standard day in, day out. They're always constantly learning. They're always constantly growing. And you know what's great, too? You know, I would work at so many gyms in Vegas. And every time you walk in there, it was almost like some gang territory where, like, this trainer's with his client, that trainer over there is with their client. Don't look at each other. Oh, they're trying to steal our client. It was always like bashing, and it just was very uncomfortable for me. And so that's why I like trained at a lot of like low key gyms. Aesthetically, they weren't the best. I love you, Mel, but Body Sport needed an update. But you know, I went there because it was so low key, and that's what I was actually craving, was the mental low key, because I was trying to build my relationship with my clients first before I took them to like this aesthetically pleasing space and like distracted them. Right.
There's one thing that also I wanted to mention too that was that I wanted to talk about in this space is our body, right? Like the gym. You're talking about the gut, right? And you talk about our mind, right? Like having all those things dialed in, right? And then the emotional part of it, right? Like it's such an important thing because I think the gym can only do so much, right? Because let's say you're overweight and you're like doubting yourself and you're sad or you're anxious and you're just like hating your life. You start working out, you get confidence, right? And you build this confidence.
No.
Well, hold on.
Hold on.
Well, let me know. Let me tell you where you're going. Like I know.
Okay, fine.
We get to a point where my body is looking good, and I'm feeling confident in my body because I lost, let's say, 30 pounds. I'm looking ripped, and I'm looking good. Okay. But that can only get you so far.
True.
Right.
True. But before those 30 pounds you remove, it takes weeks, days, months.
Oh, for sure.
And so, what's so tough about the gym is people don't see results day 1, day 2, day 7, day 14, day 21. Depending on people's genetics, it might be even longer, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so what's helped us and what's helped grow, at least, dude, I kill with transformations. Y'all see me, dude. I'm busting out many. It's because I've dove so deep mentally where I was like, let's change them mentally, and then physical, bro, it's an easy transformation after that.
Yeah.
Because now...
Yes. So that's what I was gonna get to.
Okay, yeah.
Is literally the normal. What most people do is they go get a trainer and they do the physical thing and they do their body work, right? And so their body looks
the external results, which is nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely not, absolutely not. But I think it can go so far because once you start looking good, let's say you even get a six pack, right? You're still, and then you have this confidence, and then you're this new you. You know what I mean? You're looking good, but then there's still the deep stuff. The traumas, the automatics, the insecurities, the doubts, the I'm not good enough conversations that still exist. You know what I mean? There are some people, don't get me wrong, that break free of that from the exercising, but it was very rare, right? And then you're creating this thing where you've worked out from a place of a negative space versus a positive space, and then so when you create from the inside out, which I've seen you do, because a lot of your programming has like a lot of like meditation and like I think you've added journaling, and it's a lot of mental stuff because you have to love yourself at the end of the day, no matter what, without how you look. But then when you compound both together, it's a beautiful thing, and that's when you create real transformation,
1,000.
Not just physical transformation. You're creating like life-changing transformation at that level, right?
Well, those transformations are the seeds to this community.
Yeah.
And so I've done so many of those transformations to help me build this.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's really what it comes down to is, but the gym is great because the gym creates discipline. Right.
Yeah.
And so for me, for instance, I was a fucking 17-year-old boy living a crazy ruckus life. I didn't know how to change and be better. Even though I wanted it, I didn't know where to go.
Yeah.
And so a great way for at least me to find was going to the gym.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. And so just going to the gym, not necessarily even knowing what I was doing, but being curious, feeling good, start feeling my bicep kind of pump up. Damn, my back's looking good. Okay, boy.
Yeah.
Shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah,
you feel me? But you build some confidence.
Yeah.
But what I was trying to say before you said anything though is that takes time though.
Yep.
And so the reason I'm not saying physical, the gym external is not important. It's super important.
Yeah.
But you be able to be mentally strong to deal with maybe the weeks of not seeing physical results
Yeah.
is going to get you further, and you have a better shot at getting through it than someone that's just focusing straight on the physical and not realizing, damn, their demons are going to hold me back, right? And because, I'll just throw this on the rug. You can only throw it under the rug for so long before it either fucking comes out or, whatever the situation is. And so whenever I have clients, and just honestly, luckily these trainers too, they're really big about mental health. And so we're all just having our clients dive deep mentally and really just almost turn them inside out.
Yeah.
Where they're like, fuck, I really never looked at life this way, or I never, thought about life like this, or thought of me in this beautiful world we call life. And so just changing that mindset has brought physical transformation. So
Absolutely.
when people see me on Instagram, they're like, oh, he's just a trainer that writes results. I'm very closed off, and I like to keep to myself.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I don't post certain things just because it's such a special moment.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be like, hey, to my client, hey, pause, let me grab a tripod, let's film this, let's put a mic on, let me grab a light, and bring that same energy. Okay. A lot of times clients are talking to me about personal situations where they're like, yo, like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking in the gym. And so I hope you understand when I said that, right?
Yeah.
So getting that, but also them feeling comfortable enough to say that to me really started changing my life. Because I was like, these people are confining in me, and like,
Probably some things they never said to anybody.
and that's where I'm getting at, because most of these conversations with my clients have been so deep and impactful, where they're like, yo, I've never told no one this, but Chris, and they've seen what I've been through, and I think that's my story alone. Y'all have heard my story before. I think my story has inspired people.
Yeah.
And it's also made people realize, like, damn, I could be a fuck up and get out of it.
Yeah.
And so it's motivating, inspiring, and that's all I'm trying to be for people, which is just to inspire people. Like, I don't really care what people think of me outside the gym. I don't really care. Like, I hide my personal life anyways, because it's just for me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, though, obviously, transformations are really fully focused on that mental aspect. And just to be successful alone, you have to change that. You could be the physical thing. Let's think physical attributes real quick, right? We're talking about the hustle, David Goggins mentality, right? Like, let's go get it. I'm running till my feet fucking fall off. Feel me? Like, I'm down with that. That's fun. But also the maturity of now growing and realizing, like, my Joe Dispenza and like, Aubrey Marcus and all them, ayahuasca, shrooms, all that.
Inside out, you can create whatever you want from your mind, not like pushing it like,
And to be honest, I love this side of me. As a man, I think
you need both.
I think we have to be like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But also to have this such a spiritual like awakening here is beautiful. And I've really been the last 2-3 years, how focused I've been diving deep into this motherfucker over here, and it's really helped me out a lot. And so I think that's what I'm saying, guys. If y'all want change, we have to go down this path of I'm willing to work within, and no matter how long this will take, I will stay with it, right?
Yeah.
How bad do you really want it? That's what one of my first slogans was, because actually that was the stage of my life. And I think it's the reason that was my slogan is because it was, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
And I used to post it everywhere, but I was in such of that hustle mindset that I was like, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Chris, you're tired, it's fourth quarter, you're down 3. Like, what are you going to do? Fuck it, let's go get it. You feel me?
Absolutely.
And so I had that mindset for 3-4 years. And now it's just I've matured and grown. And now my new slogan is, setting the standard. And because now I realize, the standard needs to be set not just physically, mentally, spiritually, romantically, relationshiply, in all aspects. That's what the standard is. The standard's not one thing. The standard is everything averaged in a median, that's a high standard, right? And that's what it comes down to. So people focus on this, that. No, dude. If you want growth, if you want change, if you want to live a fulfilling life, bro, go within.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to do that though at first, and so that's the reason why I had to do like mushrooms,
Yeah.
DMT, crazy experience, right?
Sure.
We talked about this before.
Bunch,
But I needed a couple, tools to help me dive deep mentally, because I've done it before, but I was in such a dark place that I was actually like kind of corrupted, right? It was chaotic for me, and so then I had to like mature down, calm down, go into these, I call them sessions, more intentional, and saying I'm going into the session because I want to heal my inner child, or I want to. You're
not just taking the drug just to get high.
There's been times when we gone to the cabin and I put the rug on and I was crawling around like I was a lion and tiger. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
there's a time and a space for that. But
there's a time and place for everything. For these sessions in my mental health and the growth aspect of things, I did them in more of an intentional aspect, saying, I'm going to go in here. I have to go in there and help my inner child right now because I know that's a problem. That's something that's holding me back. That's the reason why I can't overcome this hill, is because I haven't fixed this yet or worked on this, or I've neglected it or not put no attention to it. And so now it's causing corruption, right? Yeah. So I have to go dive in there, and I took mushrooms in a very healthy, medicinal way where it's helped me now dive deep into a very conscious matter.
Absolutely. I
need to grab my sippy cup. Y'all, I'm a grown ass man with a head tattoo, good, sipping out like this.
There's a very powerful place for psychedelics, right? And it allows you to see and feel and experience things that are not in your automatic. It allows you to tap into your subconscious. It allows you to tap into something deeper than your automatic programming, and then you're able to see things, experience things, feel things. Like, when you go on a mushroom trip and they say it's a bad trip, those are the ones you need. Those are the ones that you're fighting the demons. The conversation is repeating about, let's say, your dad, and you just don't want to hear it. That's the fucking thing you need to listen to.
It's literally you putting on an armor with your heavy ass knife, and you're about to go in the tunnel, and there's a big ass dragon that you got to execute, but you go into that motherfucker just slaying it away. And so, there's, mushroom sessions where we've done to go in to deal with the past. But the most powerful ones, and once we get there, obviously through growth and, diving in, were the affirmation sessions that I started going into.
Oh, really?
Because then I started looking into myself like, I healed this.
Yeah.
Now let's bring into the present moment. What's going on? I am great. I'm unstoppable.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
I'm passionate. I'm loved. I am loved. Right. And so those two alone, because I never experienced love. Right. Yeah. People say I love you all the time, but there was always some type of intention behind it. Like, hey, I love you, but you need to do this. I love you, but you got to give me this. And so for the first time ever, when I said I love you to myself, I really took that in like as it is. Yeah. So two of my affirmations is I am love and I am loved. Right. So meaning I could give love. And I'm very able to be soft and give it to people when they need it, and in a very good way. And also I could receive it. And the biggest thing for me was I couldn't receive it, so I always push people away. And that's why I think that's what fucked me up a lot, because I burned a lot of relationships because I wasn't allowing people to love me for me. Because I didn't love myself. How can I allow this motherfucker to love me if I don't love me? Yeah. And so me diving like that, man, like,
wow.
Game over.
That's crazy. I never even thought, like, what I'm hearing too is that, like, you go into the battles on some psychedelics too, but then giving yourself the opposite of like greatness. And
you have to do both.
Yeah, I never thought about, like, I've never done that, and I think I'm gonna do that.
Tonight.
Here soon. I gotta
Cameras are going off.
But like, I always told you about the shroom parties we should have here late night. I told you we're gonna have one where we're just eat and ate the shrooms, and everyone's it's a slumber party, and we have little sleeping bags.
We're joking, guys. We're joking.
But anyways, that part right there, it's almost like your visualizing, embodying a way of being that you want to be loved, loved, like. Powerful, vulnerable. You're saying these things and you're embodying that way of being. And then when you get out of that, it compounds, because then you become it, right?
Amen. Bro,
that's some good stuff.
Magical moments. Wow. And so I'm glad I was able to teach you something, because you teach me so many things. And so take that, Jim,
I
and
appreciate
let me
that.
know how that goes.
I do that in my I've been doing these visualization meditations in the morning, right? Where it's
Yeah.
like, and it's Joe Dispenza's stuff, and it's like, okay, close your eyes, feel through your body, and then what do you want to? What is that the thing you want to create? So I'm visualizing what I want to create, and then I visualize what I don't want to create, and the thing that I want to change, and then I visualize again what I want to create, right? The finance, the relationships, the, you know what I mean, the courage, whatever it is I'm looking for, but I do that meditating, but I never thought about doing that in a psychedelic space, right? Where I'm like,
That's great. I think that's definitely a great tool that you need to experience because it's love for yourself.
For sure.
Because not only it brings gratitude to you. You're like, damn, like I am great.
yeah.
Like I do for years.
I forget to say that through my day. It's always in the morning
Yeah.
for a little bit, but then I'm like, even in my day, I'm like,
Well, here's a trick to give you, and I don't know if you do this already, but I want to say Joe Dispenza or Tony Robbins talked about this. I love them, bro.
They're
like
awesome. Yeah,
they
yeah.
brought the very vulnerable, emotional side of me out, and like, dude, they're amazing. So if y'all don't know who that is, bro, y'all go check their podcast. Especially Joe Dispenza. Joe Dispenza has changed my life.
Yeah.
Like I really, if I ever get the opportunity, Joe Dispenza, if you ever watch this, I'm here. Let's do one. Sit on this couch. Let's go. I am great. I am strong. Having those beliefs first thing in the morning. But the tool I was going to give you is try to meditate with your eyes open. All right. And so I think Joseph Spencer said it. Don't hold me on this. Maybe it was Robbins, but it was one of them that said, in our daily life, right, we should do breath work and meditation first thing in the morning and at night. We could do that.
Yeah.
But during the day, what are our tools, right? Maybe you just had a client that just brought some negative energy. Her boyfriend's being rude or broke up with her, the job cut off. And so us as trainers, we take all that energy too, right?
Yeah.
And so people got to realize, trainers are almost fucking therapists. Because
for sure.
I would have 10 girrs back to back to back to back. One girl brings me good energy. Next girl brings me, I'm losing my job.
Yeah.
Next one. And so it started piling up on me. And so I'm grinding and hustling, but I'm no longer seeing the flourishment because I'm literally taking all that energy and I didn't know what to do with it, right? And so that's when I really had to get intentional with my self-work and my self-care, and that was able to help me finally, okay, now I could take on a relationship, know how to properly put a bubble around me and take what I need or what I don't need. I could choose. And so that's maturity and that's growth. And that takes time to build that type of relationship with yourself. But if you can learn that, that's really the secret, right? Is being very intentional just day in and day out. What do you want in life? We're literally playing The Sims. It's like that video game, right? Yeah. I used to play video games all the time. And I think I cold turkeyed it one day. I was like 24, 25, and I just threw that shit away because I was like, bro, I'm a fucking loser.
You're wasting a lot of time, bro.
Dude, I would be on.
Same, bro. Same.
It's crazy, guys.
8 hours. My days off, I would spend like 10 hours, sometimes 24-hour things where I just play games with my boys. And I was like, this is this is dope. But then, I just wasted a day on the computer.
Hours. I wouldn't not miss dinner because I'm just in the zone playing Call of Duty. Or I was big into Madden online. What the fuck? But I cold turkey threw that shit away. And I realized, I have to focus on, okay, what am I attracting? What am I bringing into my life? And I focus on my confirmations. I am strong. I am great. I am loved. And I started acting on it. And I started saying it, even though I didn't even believe it at the time, I just said it. But I had to say it with a conviction. Even though I would say it sometimes, I am love. No, you're not, bitch. I am strong. No, you're not, faggot. I'm like, what? Shit. You know what I'm saying? So,
what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah, so it took time to build that resilience of me, actually believing it. But I think that's why I said we have to be so crazy about our beliefs and our dreams to stay consistent with it. Because a lot of people care about what other people think. So during this time, through all this, people said, Chris, you ain't going to make it. Wow. Chris, this is not possible. Chris, you've been doing it for 6-7 years. Throw in the towel. Yeah. And so I got that day in and day out, but I was so convicted on my dream and vision that I was so sold on the idea of this. And no matter what you told me, I literally heard Charlie Brown. You feel me? That's all I heard because I was so invested and so infatuated with the idea of this vision. Yeah. And now to actually see this vision come to life, holy fucking shit. Yeah. And that's why I sit on this couch right now and talk to you guys. Anyone that's in a dark place right now, anyone that's struggling right now, anyone that feels alone, dive deep within, and I promise you, let me be the reason and let me show y'all what I've done. Y'all dive within, it will change your life. And I think that's the reason why we just continue to grow in here, because everyone that's coming in this space, bro, This community is insane.
Yeah.
And I wish we could get content of it. Like I know our content's fire, right?
Yeah.
Q, you're amazing. Arthur's amazing. He's helped us. I'm great with ideas. And so I love some fun stuff. So we have some good content. But, I wish we could get actually the genuine stuff that people don't get to see.
Yeah.
The relationships, the conversations, the collaborations. I've never been in a community that wants the next person to grow. Mm-hmm. I was in such a low energy space where people were always taking and not giving and trying to bring you down. Bro, it gets taxing. It gets exhausting. No one wants to be there. How can you grow in that type of place? It takes some very strong-minded person to grow. And that's where my dreams came and try. I was like, bro, fuck this. I know I'm not going to be here for long, but I believe in it.
Yeah.
Right? And now look, but I got to give it up to my members and just everyone in here, bro, because the connection in here is so deep. And that's the stuff we can't show on social media because, it's so raw. Like, I can't hey, stop doing this. Let me just pull my tripod in.
It's not
real.
Yeah.
And so I'm very, very big about being authentic. And I just wanted to just come out like that. But what people don't get to see inside Savage, bro, is insane. Yeah. Like, this community is absolutely insane. The conversations, people are sitting on the couch talking about, yeah, let's go get this. I'm going to do this. We're gonna level up, blah, blah, blah. Or they're talking about some type of self-work, care, love, giving, whatever, just collaborations. People cheering for other people. I've never had people cheer for me, in a sincere way, not wanting nothing. Literally just going like this and not doing nothing after. And I'm like, do I tip you? How does this work?
Because you never.
I'm like awkward because I never
experienced
experienced that.
Yeah.
And so just to see it day in and day out, bro, is fucking. Bro, I love Savage. Like, we were really crushing it right now.
That's awesome.
I'm so jittery because we're just getting started.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We're just getting started. So, 3 years down the road when we do this podcast again, we're going to literally blow back and be like, bro.
The reflection point. We'll do one of those.
Another reflection one, right?
Let's look
and I also want you to know, so many people asked me to be on their podcast over time. Like the last 5 years, I've had so many people DM me. And I love you guys. I'll hop on a podcast sooner than later. But I said to myself, the first time I got to do a podcast, it's got to be Inside Savage. I think I told you this 3 years ago, too.
You did.
3 years ago, I told him this. So before this, Jim was even here. I was like, listen, he wanted me to do a podcast. I forgot what it was for. And I was like, listen, I'm not going to do a podcast until I get my own gym. We're going to be on the turf. I put this whole vision out. And so for the first podcast I've ever been on, I had to be on Arthur's, and it had to be on the turf of my fucking gym. And so what a surreal moment.
It's beautiful, man. Thank you for sharing that. And it's funny, I'm going to just real quick I remember even when you had the gym, I asked you to come to my podcast in my studio, and we almost got an argument. She's like, no, I don't want to.
No, we did
get. And I was like, listen, I
argument.
get it. It's fine. We got a little argument, but I'm glad we did this here because it wouldn't be like this full circle experience. You know what I mean? And I don't think it would have been as good as this was. And so, to finish this off, because I like the way you ended that was beautiful. To finish this off, I always like to ask a few questions and.
Bro, you've been asking me questions.
I know. These are my closer questions.
Fuck.
What is the biggest thing you've learned about yourself in this last year?
Patience is growth. And that might not even make sense to some people, but to me, well, first off, I got this tattoo right here. During my life changing, it says surrender. And I had literally had to do that because I wanted, every time I looked in a mirror, I wanted to surrender my old self. My ego, my negativity, my always, it's you, it's not me. Mm-hmm. And I had to surrender all that and just be very vulnerable and just be my most rawest self. And so just being patient, bro. Being patient, it has been huge for me. I realized me being patient with people have, built relationships, have grown great things, great communities, great opportunities just by being patient and actually allowing maturity and, the way I decide and move and not just go off just straight energy. Because a lot of times, bro, I was crazy, bro. I was a crazy motherfucker, dude. And I don't think, I was wild. Mentally, I was struggling. I was just very aggressive. And I realized I couldn't do that. I wasn't able to keep sustainable relationships. And so just me now being mature and growing and just being patient and just really following my intentions of my decisions and my feelings and not just going off just straight reaction has brought growth too. And so awesome. It's probably been that. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I have to acknowledge you for your patience, dude. And it's, from knowing you from the beginning because you're a hothead to you now saying the biggest thing you've learned is being patient is huge. And then I guess the final question is, what are you most proud of creating for yourself in this last year?
I created something for all you. I did this. Yes, I did this. But I did it for all you guys. I did it for all my people that need a home, that need somewhere to be inspired and motivated. I wanted to get my people out of like those struggle situations, right? I didn't have a fucking big house. So I can't say just come to my house, guys, whenever you want. I wanted to create a very social space where people are able to just get away and disconnect. And, you know, that's really what it was, you know, I think one of the best things that happened to me was building Savage. It was for all you guys, for my family, for, you know, for the community. The community we have here, man, I never experienced a community. So that alone has probably been my biggest victory this year. Wow. Is the community we built here. And I'm really just proud of that.
That's beautiful, man. Thanks for sharing that. And thanks for sharing yourself. Thanks for sharing your space, as you always have. And thank you for being a friend, a brother. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? I love you, man. And I'm so proud of you to be here, you know what I mean, years later in your space, right? And just to be able to co-create with you and collaborate with you, and just to like have somebody that is like a brother that I never had. Well, that I, you know what I mean? Obviously,
No, I get it. Yeah,
you know. And so, this has been great, dude.
Love you.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely,
man. And so, this is either the last or the continuation of more to come. And yeah, this was awesome, bro.
I mean, it'll probably be another year from now. I don't really do shit like this, but you know, if y'all want more of this, maybe just talk to Arthur. You feel me? Like,
we'll figure it out, man. But yeah, dude, this has been beautiful. I'm super grateful, super honored to be the first one to do a podcast, to be your first podcast.
Is
that what that is?
Yeah, go with it.
Yeah.
Fuck
I
it.
popped your cherry in podcast.
He did.
Anyway,
but
guys,
it was willing.
It was.
Okay.
Well, guys, I love you. And until next time, we will see you on the other side.